What if I told you that the man who gave us Captain Jack Sparrow has found himself caught in a real-life storm, not on the high seas this time, but in the unpredictable waters of love? Yeah, you heard that right. Johnny Depp's heart might just be in the middle of one of the biggest emotional battles of his life. Have you been keeping up with Johnny Depp's love life lately? Because honestly, it's been quite a ride. The headlines, the whispers, the paparazzi photos. It feels like every week there's something new. And if you've been feeling a little lost in the middle of all the rumors and romance, don't worry. You're not the only one. Today, we're diving deep into what people are calling Johnny Depp's love dilemma. The story of a man who's torn between two hearts. Two very different women. Both important, both unforgettable. We'll talk about how it all started, what really went down, and what's happening right now behind the scenes. There are things you might not have heard before, and by the end, you might just see Johnny's story in a new light, so sit back, relax, maybe grab a coffee, or if you're feeling pirate vibes, a bottle of rum, because this one's going to be a wild but heartfelt ride. Let's rewind a bit. Johnny Depp has always been more than just a movie star. He's a mystery, a rebel, and a poet all wrapped into one. And when it comes to love, that same intensity has followed him everywhere. His relationships have always been passionate, unpredictable, and deeply emotional, but after everything that's happened in recent years, it's no surprise that his heart's been through a lot. Let's start where the world really began paying attention, with Amber Heard. You remember that, right? The love story that became one of Hollywood's most public and painful breakups. It began like a fairy tale. Two good-looking stars, both passionate, both independent, drawn together like fire and gasoline, but what started out as a whirlwind romance soon turned into a storm that no one could escape. Their relationship went from love to chaos faster than anyone could imagine. There were accusations, trials, endless headlines, and for Johnny, a loss of not just love, but trust. After it all came crashing down, Johnny did something that made a lot of sense. He stepped away. Away from the noise, the cameras, the constant judgment. It wasn't just about saving his career. It was about saving himself. And let's be honest, who wouldn't? After going through something that public and painful, anyone would need time to heal. Fans began asking, will Johnny ever love again? It was a fair question, and for a long time, it looked like the answer might be no. Then quietly, something changed. Out of nowhere, people began noticing a new face in Johnny's orbit. Not a co-star, not a celebrity, but a lawyer named Joelle Rich. She had worked with Johnny during his UK libel case, standing beside him during one of the toughest moments of his life. At first, no one thought much of it. But slowly, people began to realize there was more there than just a professional connection. Behind the courtroom doors, it seemed something genuine was starting to bloom. This wasn't a flashy Hollywood romance. There were no red carpets or big Instagram posts. It was quiet, private, real, the kind of love that doesn't need to shout, and that's exactly what made people curious. After years of chaos, could Johnny Depp finally be finding peace in love again? Reports began to surface that the two had been spending time together away from the public eye. Friends described their relationship as deep and understanding. Joelle, they said, was a grounding presence in Johnny's life. Calm, steady, patient. Exactly what he needed after years of emotional turbulence. But of course, when you're Johnny Depp, nothing stays private for long. As soon as word got out, the cameras followed. Every glance, every outing, every smile became a headline. Still, it looked like Johnny was finally in a good place. Until rumors of another woman started circulating. This is where things take an interesting turn. Around late last year, whispers began about a mysterious woman who'd been spotted near Johnny during his travels in Europe. Some say she's a model. Others believe she's someone from his past, an old flame rekindled. The truth? No one really knows for sure, but sources close to Johnny say that his heart might be divided. On one hand, there's Joelle, loyal, understanding, and someone who's been with him through his toughest times. On the other hand, there's this new spark, exciting, refreshing, maybe even a little unpredictable, and that raises a very real, very human question. Can someone who's been through heartbreak truly open their heart again? Or are they just looking for something to help them forget the pain? Johnny's friends say that despite what the tabloids suggest, he's not jumping from one romance to another. In fact, he's been focusing more on himself lately. On healing. On rediscovering who he is beyond the headlines. He's been pouring his energy into music and art. His real loves. The things that have always grounded him. If you followed his career, you know that he's not just an actor. He's a musician at heart. In one interview, Johnny said something that really stuck with people. He said, "Music is my therapy. When words fail, my guitar speaks." That line alone says a lot. It's not just about playing music, it's about expressing what he can't always say out loud. And if you've seen him perform lately, you might have noticed something too. Fans who've been to his shows say he seems lighter, happier. There's a calmness about him that wasn't there before. Now here's where things get even more intriguing. According to a few insiders, one of these women, either Joelle or the mystery woman, has been quietly joining him during his European tour. No public appearances, no red carpets, just quiet moments between shows. It's the kind of low-key romance that fits perfectly with where Johnny is right now. No drama. No spotlight, just a man who's trying to live and love on his own terms. But that doesn't mean the story is over. In fact, it might just be beginning, because as much as Johnny tries to keep things private, the world keeps watching. Every move he makes, every person he's seen with, becomes a clue in this unfolding love story. And honestly, who can blame people for being curious? After all, we've seen him at his highest highs and lowest lows. Watching him find happiness again feels like watching a friend get back on their feet. There's something about Johnny Depp that makes people care. Maybe it's his vulnerability. Maybe it's the way he wears his pain like poetry. Or maybe it's because deep down we all relate to the idea of a heart trying to heal. Now, when we talk about Johnny's love dilemma, it's not just gossip. It's a reflection of something real. The struggle between holding on to someone who's been there through the darkness and being brave enough to chase new light. It's not an easy choice, especially for someone who's lived under the spotlight for decades. Imagine being Johnny Depp for a moment. Every smile, every touch, every word, dissected, analyzed, turned into headlines. Even something as simple as being seen with someone becomes a worldwide conversation. That's why people close to him say he's become more protective of his private life than ever before. He's learned the hard way that love and fame don't always mix well. But even with all that, you can't help but feel like Johnny still believes in love. He might be cautious, but he's not closed off. There's still that same romantic spirit that made him one of Hollywood's most intriguing figures. And maybe that's the most beautiful part of his story. That after everything and the pain, the trials, the broken trust, he still has hope. Now, let's talk about where this could be headed. There are whispers that Johnny might open up more about his personal life in an upcoming interview or even a documentary. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but the rumors have definitely caught the attention of fans everywhere. People who have followed his journey for decades are eager to hear his side of the story, unfiltered, honest, and raw. After everything he's been through, it's only natural that Johnny would want to take control of his own narrative. For years, the tabloids have painted their versions of his life, often twisting facts and turning pain into spectacle. But now it seems like Johnny might finally be ready to reclaim his voice and speak from the heart. If there's one thing Johnny Depp has always done well, it's storytelling. Whether he's transforming into an eccentric pirate, a misunderstood monster, or a poetic loner, he's always known how to make people feel something real. But imagine him telling his own story, not through a character, but as himself. Fans aren't just waiting for gossip or drama. They want to understand the man behind the myths. They want to hear about the quiet moments, the fears, the lessons, and the hope that kept him going when the world seemed against him. Insiders close to Johnny say he's been approached by several production companies over the years to make a tell-all documentary. Some wanted to focus on his court battles, others on his career, and a few even proposed exploring his music journey. But what makes this time different is that Johnny seems emotionally ready. After years of silence, he's reportedly considering telling his story in a way that feels genuine and artistic, something that reflects who he truly is, not just what people think they know about him. It wouldn't be surprising if he chose a more creative route rather than a traditional sit-down interview. Johnny's always had an artistic soul. He might decide to merge storytelling with visuals, maybe even music, to express the emotions words alone can't capture. Imagine a film that blends his love for art, music, and cinema, a journey through his life told through his eyes, with his voice guiding the audience through every chapter. It could be a mix of vulnerability and poetry, something deeply human that reminds people that fame doesn't erase pain. And success doesn't protect you from heartbreak, and honestly, that makes complete sense. After all, who better to narrate his life than the man himself? For so long, others have spoken for him. Journalists, critics, lawyers, fans, and even strangers have shared their opinions, trying to define who Johnny Depp really is. But no one knows the truth like he does. No one has lived his experiences, the highs of global fame, the crushing lows of scandal, the loneliness that comes with being misunderstood. When someone like Johnny finally speaks from the heart, it carries a kind of power that no headline could ever match. People forget that behind every celebrity is a person who feels, who hurts, who remembers. Johnny's story isn't just about love or fame. It's about survival. It's about a man who's been to the edge of public humiliation and somehow found the strength to rise again. Telling his story his way would be more than just a public statement. It would be an act of healing. Fans have already seen glimpses of this side of him in recent interviews and public appearances. He's calmer, more thoughtful, and seems genuinely at peace with where he is now. Gone is the man weighed down by controversy and stress. Instead, he carries himself with quiet confidence, a kind of gentle strength that says he's not running from the past anymore. He's facing it, learning from it, and finally ready to share what he's learned. If this interview or documentary does happen, it could redefine how people see him. It's not just about clearing his name or explaining old wounds. It's about showing the world that he's still evolving, still creating, still living with passion. It's about reminding people that he's not just the characters he's played, he's a human being with his own story of resilience and redemption. Imagine hearing Johnny talk about what love means to him now, after everything he's been through, how fame affected his relationships, what it felt like to lose trust in people he cared about, and how he learned to find peace again. It would be powerful, not because it's scandalous, but because it's real. Because it's human. He might even open up about his creative process, about how art and music helped him survive when words couldn't, how painting late at night became a form of therapy, how traveling with his guitar, performing in small towns across Europe, gave him back the sense of joy he thought he'd lost. There's a quiet strength in those moments, the kind that only comes from someone who's walked through the storm and found light on the other side. If he does speak out, it won't be for sympathy or validation. It'll be for closure, both for himself and for the people who've supported him all these years. Millions of fans have stood by him through everything, defending him, cheering for him, and believing in his innocence when the world doubted him. Maybe this is his way of saying thank you, of letting them see the truth from his own lips without filters or manipulation, and let's be real, people want to hear it. Not just the fans, but even those who once criticized him. Because at the end of the day, everyone loves a story of redemption. Everyone loves seeing someone find their voice again after being silenced. If this project comes to life, it won't just be another celebrity confession. It'll be a message about growth, forgiveness, and the power of telling your own story. It'll show that no matter how broken things get, you can always rebuild. You can always rise. And maybe, just maybe, Johnny Depp's next chapter won't be about scandal or sorrow, but about truth and transformation. Whatever form it takes. A film, a series, a deep, emotional interview. One thing's for sure. When Johnny finally speaks, the world will listen. Because this time it won't be a script. It'll be his soul. But even as fans wait for answers, one thing is clear. Johnny Depp seems to be in a better place now. Maybe he hasn't made a final choice when it comes to love, but he's definitely choosing peace, and that's a big step forward. So here we are. Watching one of Hollywood's most beloved stars navigate something that's deeply human, the struggle to move on, to trust again, to find balance between the past and the present, and it makes you wonder, What would you do if you were in his shoes? Would you stay with the person who's been there through your darkest days? Or would you take a chance on something new, something that might just bring back the spark you thought you'd lost? It's not an easy decision, and maybe that's why so many people are fascinated by Johnny's story. Because it's not just about fame or gossip, it's about love, forgiveness, and finding your way back to yourself. At the end of the day, Johnny Depp isn't just a Hollywood icon. He's a man who's been broken, rebuilt, and is still figuring it all out. And in that way, he's just like the rest of us. So what do you think? Is Johnny following his heart, or is he still trying to heal it? Do you believe he's found true love again? Or is this just another chapter in his long, complicated love story? I'd love to hear what you think. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Respectfully, of course. And if you enjoyed diving into this story, you'll definitely want to check out our next video, The Untold Side of Amber Heard's Comeback, What Hollywood Won't Say. That one reveals the other side of the story. And trust me, it's full of surprises. Before you go, don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. And of course, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into Hollywood's biggest stories. Because at the end of the day, every star has a story, and even the brightest ones sometimes get lost in the shadows. Johnny Depp's love dilemma reminds us that no matter how famous, talented, or admired someone is, love can still be confusing, messy, and unpredictable. But it's also what makes life beautiful, so here's to second chances. Here's to healing hearts. And here's to finding peace, even in the middle of the storm. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay kind, and remember, even stars have hearts that break. Just like ours.